I had some time, so I thought I'd do another practice test on Unit 4. This would be material from Chapter 10 and then from the new book, 2.3 and 2.4. Now, part of this is to become acquainted with how to use your calculator, how to interpret things, and strategy to get the answer. So, for instance, in number 1, the fractional part of a battery using this formula after 200 hours of use. So putting this into your calculator, you're going to put 3, then caret, a negative, and I'd put that, let's say, in parentheses here, 0.01. Now your t, this multiplication, is 200. And then let's see what you get for an answer. Now, when I do this, I get a repeating decimal fraction. And then there's a button on your calculator that will convert decimal fractions to regular fractions, which becomes 1/9. So again, putting this carefully into your calculator, part of this is the skill of reading what's there. And of course, I've shortened these so that in your actual test, they give you more information. I'm just putting what I would have put on a blue sheet. Now for number 2, they are giving us the compound interest formula. Here is the data, and it's a matter of setting it up. So our P is going to be 10,500, parentheses 1, plus, now the rate is 8%. I have to convert that to a decimal fraction, so 0.08. The compounded period is quarterly for the N, so that will be 4 times a year. And then our exponent is going to be 4 for the N, and then our T is for 4 years. So 4 times 4, this is going to be 16. So I can actually just change that here to 16 and make it a little easier. Okay, so I would do the 0.08 divided by 4, add 1. I would do caret 16, and then multiply it by this, and let's see what you get. And of course, you're going to round off to 2 decimal places. So when I do it, I get this, and I look to my 3rd decimal place, it's a 9. So I'm going to drop the 9 and make this 4 a 5. And then this would be your answer. Now for number 3, we have 4 sets. What they're asking us here is to be able to read set operations. And what do you do first? Well, what's in the parentheses? And again, a strategy would be see which elements intersect in both Y and Z. So I would start, let's say, with Y. H, no, there's no H's. A, there's an A in both. N, no. D, no. S, yes, there's an S in both. O, no. M, no. E, yes, there's an E in both. So what do I have then? A, E, S. A, as a result of this intersection. Now I'm going to put it in a union with X. So this is BEAUTY. And I could put commas there, but for working, I don't need to do it necessarily. So again, I start A. I'm going to alphabetize them a little bit. B. E. And then I have S. And then UTY. And I have done this. So the operation was find the intersection, which we did, and then union with that intersection and X, which we've done. Check your work. Now, number 4 I have done before, and I've shortened it here, again, just for practice. You want to develop a strategy. So we say that this is the cardinal number of A, so I'll put this out here, 925, and I've done that. B, the cardinal number is 505, and I've done that. C is 615, and now I've done that. Now they're showing us the cardinal number of intersection of A, B, and C, which is right here, is 131. So I put that in, and now I've done that. And what was left in the universe is 21, so I put that there. It's kind of a little reference here. Now C is only 110, so this part of C is only 110. I put that there. Now B and C, the intersection between these two is 161, but we already have 131, so we subtract that from 161 and we get 30. Okay, now A intersecting with B only, we're saying is 191. So this is 191. So we're wondering then, we haven't done this one, 161, yes we did, okay. We want to figure out who only read one book, what percentage. And these are different books. So where are we? Well, we don't know this here, this part right there, but we know that these three if we add these three up, subtracted from 615, that's going to give us this. And when I do that, I get 344. So I worked on this already. Now, if we add these three up and subtract it from 505, that will give us what this is. And this is 153. If we subtract these, we'll add these three up, subtracted from 925, we get 259. Now we're able to see who read only, and I'll change colors here, Book A, Book B, Book C, but we still don't know what our total sample space is. We find that by adding up all of these inside here along with our 21. Now when we do that, we get 1239. And when we add up what we have in the box here that only read one of the books, we end up with 522. And when we do the percent of that, it comes out to 0.421. And we're to round it to the nearest tenth. But we need to change this decimal fraction to a percent, which becomes 42.1%. And that would be the answer to this one. Now this one was very tedious. I did this one in another video in more detail, and you're welcome, of course, to look at that as well. Now, what I've done throughout this is often change numbers so that you get a variety of examples, but keeping in mind on your test, the numbers will be different, but yet the protocol for getting the answer would be the same. So here we have this formula, future value. C is going to be 2500, parenthesis 1 minus. Now, this is a rate of 20%. We have to convert that to a decimal fraction, 0.20. And then t is our exponent, caret 5. So give that a try and see what you get when you do that. And I get $819 and rounding it off to 20 cents. Okay, going on to number 6, and I modified that a little as well. Looking for a strategy to do these, I had to modify the numbers a little bit. So again, survey of 150 students. So I could put that as a reference over there a little bit. So we've done that. 28 took E, that's English. 30 took S, science. Check that off. And 29 took psychology. I'm going to go back to red now. 18 took English, but not science. But what did we say we should always do first? See if we can find the intersection of all of them. Well, that's this. 6 took all three. So I'm going to put a 6 there. So studying this, 10 took S and E. S and E, 10. But we also have 6 already. So this will be 4 here. Okay. can put a check after that. 15 took E and P. 15 took E and P. We already have 6, so that will leave 9 here. 18 took E, but not S. This is the tricky one. So 18 took E, but not S. So we have 9 here, possibly. So I would think this is 9. So 9 and 9 are 18. It didn't take the S. So I copied this from the book, changed some of the numbers, and again, I may not have copied everything down because we don't have a value for this. So I'm going to assume that this is 0. And now we can figure out how many only took P. Well, here we have 15. 15 from 29 leaves us with 14. And that's what I'm going to go with for my answer. Now, again, these are challenging. You have to develop your own strategy. I'm suggesting one here, but if you have one that works better, let's go on. Again, I think this is something a little bit easy. In set operations, we're asked to write the union of set A and B, and we want a strategy. Well, you're going to list everything once. A, B. If you want to do it alphabetically, I think that would be a good idea. E, K, and then N, S, T, and U. Remember, don't put a comma by that last one. They count that incorrect. All right, that was a rather easy one. And once again, I read over the problem and I substituted or shortened what would be on my blue sheet. So here's the formula on the Richter scale, where the initial intensity was like nothing. So we disregard this, and we input the I, which is the 2000, and then round to the 10th. So what we're putting into our calculator is log of 2000. And then that comes out to be, give you a chance, 3.301029. And we're rounding it to the nearest 10th. So in the hundredths place is 0. So then this just becomes 3.3, which is not too strong an earthquake. Again, depending on this value, it'd be higher. All right, let's go on. Now in this next one, again, they're asking for continuous interest, and I see they didn't give the formula, so you would need to know this. And then putting it into the formula, it would be 6,000. That would be for the P. E is on your calculator, and then caret. Now you need to convert this to its decimal form, 0.052 times the time, which is 20, and put that into your calculator and see what you get. And I get 16975.302. It goes on, but we're rounding to the nearest cent, so we're just going to drop the 2, and there is our answer. Now for number 10, while it's here, this is the formula for pH, that is acid alkalinity of something, where this is the value of this. So the idea is you put in a negative log, and then just write this, 3.14 times 10 caret negative 6. Usually you have to close the parenthesis here, and give you a moment to try that to see you get the right answer. So the hydrogen concentration would come out to 5.5030, and it's usually round to the nearest tenth, so in the hundredths place is a 0. So the answer for this one would be 5.5. All right, let's move it up. I think this is an example about decibels, sounds of a cat purring. And we're given the information. We have I sub O, and we have I, and there's the formula. Again, this is what I've written on my blue sheet, summarizing. So I'm going to go 10 log, and then there's a parenthesis, and I put in there 2.13 times 10 to the negative 10th, caret negative 10, and then divided by 10 to the caret negative 11. And I did this once and I got an error message, so apparently I didn't type it in properly. That's why you need to practice with your calculator to be sure you know how to input to get answers. And then this came out to about 3.28379. And then you had to round off to whatever they say. If you round off to 2 decimals or 1 decimal, depending, 2 decimals, you would just drop all of this. 1 decimal, you would drop the 8 and change the 2 to 3.3. Okay, again, hopefully it's helpful. You're getting more practice, but again, you're doing the practice and the certify as you prepare. That's an excellent use of your time.